Welcome, everyone. I am excited to have my brother, Jamie Alvarez Acosta, with us today. He's a traditional curandero, a healer from Cusco, Peru, who has been trained and initiated by his elders in the wisdom teachings of the Andes and walked this path for over 30 years. As a spiritual teacher and guide, he's best known for his heart-centered and humble approach to healing and spirituality. And he is the co-founder of Children of the Seven Rays and host of the Heart of the Condor podcast. Jamie, it's so good to have you on the summit this year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my bro. Thank you, everyone, for the invitation. I am really happy to be here with you, and it's such a big honor for me.
Yeah, great. Well, much to talk about. You just got back from Peru, but let's start out with talking about Summa Causa, the living the good way, and tell us a little bit about that and the history and what that means, living the good way.
In the Andean tradition, to the Summa Causa maybe some beautiful form to perceive life, because the translation means to live in a good way. And sometimes humanity forget to live in a good way. We I think the main challenge for humanity is that many times our human nature letting us to perceive nature and try to adapt what is nature to us. You see? So humans, we do always these kind of things. We look what is outside and we are adapting what is outside to what we like to have in life. The challenge is that with this, we lost the power of adaptation. We don't know how to adapting ourselves to what is nature. And when we don't have this, we lost this power. So we lost the capacity to live in a good way with us and with everything and everyone around, principally with what is nature. For this reason, my elders always say, respect your nature. Because when you understand what really is your nature, you really go to empower and remember how to be a human being. Because right now, my elders laughing because this guy say that we are humanoids, like almost a robot. We forget how to be human. So what is the main message of the Summa Causa is to remember. For this reason, in many different traditions, in many different spiritual teachings, exists a key word that is remember. You see? So remember who you are. Remember your nature. Remember the human level of conscious. And when you remember the human level of conscious, you already learn how to adapt yourself to what is nature.
Yeah.
You see? And principally to what is your nature. In your own reality, in your own point of view. Sometimes humans always love to change herself. I'm coming from another perspective. The perspective is to accept yourself.
Mm.
You don't have nothing to change, everything to accept. And when you accept yourself, you have the power, you empower yourself, and you have the power to transform and transmute your realities. But if you don't accept yourself, you go to be fighting all the time with your own self. And in the end, you always lose.
Right. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I'm curious about, how Summa Causa can help us is that we live in a culture that has a cultural view, a world view that says, I'm separate. I'm separate from my body, even. I'm separate from my emotions. I'm separate from you. I'm separate from the trees. I'm separate from the air. And how do we rehabilitate our ability to recognize how deeply connected and interdependent we are, and how can the Andean teachings help us to do that?
I maybe go to be a little controversial here. Okay.
Okay. I
But
like controversy, you know that.
but I remember one day I listened my elders talking about these kind of things, and say that the main um, sickness of bacteria or virus that we receive is the belief system in one God. Because my elders say the God that the Christians have, or Catholics, is one God that is chulla, what means don't know how to share. For this reason, this God is unique. I am everything. I am you, I am the tree, I am everything. So if this God is everything, that's it. So it's always looking the own stuff, the own reality. And this is the most important, my rights. You see? For this reason, in the Andean tradition, we have the belief system of God Father and God Mother. And we always look in the partner. Because when you know how to work together, that is the most big belief system that we have is in God. And if we believe that exists two gods, God Mother and God Father, and make love, so finding the way to create a relation, unconsciously, humans have this way to live in a relationship with everything and everyone. I need to finding my way to create a relationship with nature. I need to finding my way to create a relationship with the cosmos. I need to finding my way to create a relationship with my brothers and sisters. And I don't working alone. I working with my partner. Because there is coming the idea of Yananting Masinting, the idea of be a partner, be a couple. You see? But if the most big part of us believe that exists just one, so we are a little bit like selfish in this way. Because in our psychic, in our unconscious, this is really deep printing. You know? So part of the belief system is what affect the reality of humanity right now.
Yeah.
And how affect the situation of us and the difficulties that we have to create relations. The most relations that we have, the most rich that we be. The less relations that we have, the poor that we be. You know? So in the Andean traditions, this is the reality. Humans try to create relationship with the apples, with the mountains, with the trees, with the stones, with another humans, because we realize that we don't be alone there. And if our Godfather and Godmother create a relation, we need to do the same.
So when you're talking about this, Jamie, we're talking about these source energies. So it's kind of like a marriage of the masculine and feminine. Is that what you're saying? That we forget of course, those are both archetypes and contain a lot of information. You know, the archetype of the masculine and the wild son and the father and the elder, and in the feminine you've got the maiden, the wild girl, and the mother and the crone. These are all part, but from my perspective, the energies are still one energy, but it's a balancing of two different powers which change with the movement of the moon and the cycles of the sun. What's your thought about it? Am I following you, or am I completely
yes,
off?
yes, yes, of course. But I like to move this part. We're looking about electricity. Okay, exists positive, positive and negative. You know, so both together create this kind of vibration energy that bring this reality that is electricity. You see, so when we look the thing in a simple way, we look just as an electricity. When we look in two different ways, or we go more deep, we realize that this is the door to dividing in two realities, positive and negative. You know, it's more or less the same idea with the perception that we have about Godfather and Godmother. You know,
Yeah.
bring to you these two different realities, two different points of view, and these two different points of view create life. Now, together, create this kind of vibration that is we call Sami. That is the living vibration, the most pure part of nature. You know, and some people talking about hucha, that is the dirty part, or the you know.
Yep.
For me, hucha personally is a human conscious.
Unconscious.
No, human conscious.
Human conscious.
Because
Okay.
Sami is this divine energy that's pure. And every time that humans touch this energy that is pure nature, we're transforming in Hucha. So we are the main Hucha way of living. It's not bad, it's not good. It's just human conscious. It's human reality. You see? When we touch a tree, we already put in Hucha there. So lost a little bit of living pure energy. You see?
Yeah, so let me just get my head around it, because you're presenting something that's a little different for me. So if I touch a tree and I'm not fully connected with that tree with all of my positive and negative energy, I'm creating hucha. But what if I recognize that tree in me as a part of me, as a part of consciousness? Is that Sami?
Yes. You recognize the Sami aspect of you.
Yes. Okay.
For example, the tea ceremony that the Japanese people do is a really nice proof. So these guys go use the chops, pick off the leaves, putting in a special container. Okay, they're go finding in a special container the water, put in the water, create the tea, but don't touch with the hands this reality. So when the guy is drinking the tea, is pure essence of life, pure Sami reality. But what happens if your hands touch the lips? You already put hucha there, and it's don't go to test the same, because already have a human conscious. So it's for this reason that, for example, every time that the ancestors go to work with something in nature, never try to touch with the hands, because always try to do and preserve the most Sami vibration that is possible.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Beautiful.
because it's bring the most pure part of nature, more or less.
Yeah. So we're looking at it as an individual with the positive and negative, and I'm wondering, in the Andean ancestral lineage, the how we got so much hucha. you know,
Yeah.
or, you
Yeah.
know, genocide, killing, raping, you know, all of this, much of it is thousands and thousands of years handed down through epigenetics and through culture, and you know, through new generations.
Yeah.
How do we cleanse the hucha from our ancestral lineage so that we're not then passing it on to our descendants?
Well, the most important part for me is to look your life here. You know, I don't really be responsible for everything that has happened before me in other lives for my ancestors, and I am not really responsible or really responsible for what is happening in the future generations. So that is when I learned this idea of the 7 generations behind and 7 generations in front. And it's really nice because give to you the possibility to make your own transformation, because you are responsible for everything in the back and you are responsible for everything in the future. But the situation is you are more responsible for your own present. And your own present go to affect your past and your future. You see? But then if you try to do this process, looking for what happened behind of you or in front of you, you do this part not for your own. You do this part for the others. And the main focus in spirituality is try to do the things for you because you need to be better. You need to be in a better position. If you are in a better position, you go to give a better legacy for the future generations, and you go to affect your ancestors with these choices, with these decisions. You go to clean some things. Sometimes we don't be conscious of what we do, but we are conscious of our own process and our own reality. And maybe this is the main medicine that we need to try to be a better person. It's for this reason that when I teach my students, I say to these guys, my intention is not for you to be an Andean shaman or an Andean spiritual person. My intention, my goal is for you to be a better human being. Be you, but in a better way. You know, and I think this is the key for the transformation of the humanity. We need to work in this present right now for who you are and try to be a better person, and from there make better choices. Now, the ancestors working a big part and try to give into us a legacy. And this sometimes to see this legacy is a little bit I think humanity need to take out the ego that we need to discover everything. You know, I think the ancestors already giving us the directions to move. Now, how we walk in this path is different. You know, and that is maybe the most beautiful part of the medicine. How we choose to walk this path.
Yeah. So when we look at the state of the world today, I don't think there's ever been so much divisiveness, so many people, so many issues, climate change, enslavement, income disparity, racism. You could go on and on and on. That's the state of the world. Talk about the tools from the ancestors, from the Andean teachings that can help us to live with Summa Kause, and how to meet the challenges, the huge challenges that we have before us in a good way.
Mm.
I mean, I understand working with myself, but I'm also, when I'm working on myself, I'm influencing everyone I touch, just like I'm either touching them with Saming or Hucha.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Two things. The external world is just one reflection of our internal world. And we need to learn something beautiful that my elder told me when I came to Canada the first time. He said to me, go and share who you are, know what you know, because everyone knows something, you see? And when you share who you are, give in your heart, you see? And he say, it's easy to look outside and be critical. It's a little more difficult to look in, you see? So many years ago, when I beginning in this path, I remember that we go to this temple in Bolivia, Tiahuanaco. And there, my elder explained many beautiful things, and I like to listen what he say. I like to learn. And some woman, she's a little sick, and my elder say, well, go and help. Well, I help her, putting her in sitting her in a table, and I like to run to continue listening what my elder say, because he talking about beautiful things, Lemurias, Atlantis, and all this crazy stuff, you know? So I running, and in this moment, one stone called me and say, come. And I say to the stone, later, let me go, listen, and promise I go back. So I try to run, and the stone magnetically, I flip, and I beginning to run to the stone, and I crash myself in the stone. Huge rock. And the stone say to me, when I call you, you come. And she gave to me a message. And she showed me it's a long, beautiful process, but the messages say like this. With no fears, look your internal world and walking with reverence to feel the power of your heart. In the beginning, when I received this message, I am maybe 18, 19 years old. And I feel, yeah, it's a little bit like, it's nice, but it's a little bit a cliche, Now I realize that I live in this reality. And I try to teach the people to be there with no fears to look your internal world and walking with reverence and feel the power of your heart. We are more fearful to look inside than outside because look outside is easy. Look inside is a little more difficult. And walking in your internal world, feeling reverence, go to bring to you a lot of healing. And you go to recognize that you don't just be this body. You be something way more complex and way more big. And you go to recognize that every single human being is the same. For this reason, in the Andean tradition, don't really exist this good or bad. We live in energy and choices. And humans make difficult choices now. But everything that we make go to help us to learn. And we go to learn, well, when you ask the question for somebody, what you like to live or what you like to have, sometimes people don't know. But the people know what you don't like to have. You see? So all this experience that we live in humanity right now is because we learn what we don't like to live in our lives, what we don't like to have in our lives. And it's a big teaching. All this reality with all this imperfection is really perfect. Because we need this imperfection to grow, to move, to be aware. You know, because if this world is perfect, we are imperfect. I remember I listened this part. Difficult times create strong people. Strong people create beautiful times. Beautiful times create weak people. Weak people create difficult times. And we're living in this circle until we really learn. And when we learn, the human conscious go to transcend, not just every single human being. And this is a little bit the challenge. We're thinking that whatever we do is for our own. No, it's for human conscious. And human conscious go to be go to upgrade all the humans in the planet. You see? So what I do is not for me, it's for everyone. But I need to use my life to transform my reality. And my master said to me before I came to Canada, if you like to change someone or transform someone, transform yourself. Change you. And in this way, you're affecting everyone. So in one hand, yes, it's a personal journey. In another, because it's a personal way to look life. You see? In another hands, whatever you do for you, you do for the planet. You do for every single human being in this planet.
Yeah, that's beautiful. One question I have about this going into yourself to upgrade and going in with no fear. Well, that's not the condition of most of humanity. In fact, there are machines, computers, televisions, media bombarding us with you should be afraid. There may be an atomic bomb. You should be afraid. There's another plague coming. You should be afraid. We're constantly up against that. So when you say go in with no fear, and maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but in my cosmology, you need to meet that fear and greet that fear and befriend that fear, not, and maybe I'm not understanding you, I'm not going in with no fear. I'm going into the fear and feeling that fear, which allows it then to integrate for me to feel the masculine, feminine force moving through me.
Mhm.
Am
Okay.
I hearing you right, or am I misunderstanding?
Yes. When I say with no fears, look your internal world, is sometimes we not just have fears to look who we are terrified. And something beautiful that we always practice is fears mean absolute respect. Respect for the things that you don't know.
Uh-huh.
When you know, it's not anymore fears. You see? So for me personally, this is a beautiful medicine. You know, because every time that I feel fears, I feel like, okay, I respect this reality that I don't know. So I need to be really careful and really touching in a really gentle way these realities. So the saying of you, I always empower the people to sitting in front of your limitations and embrace. Because if one part of you feel fears, maybe need to feel protection. So you need to protect yourself. You need to protect this part of you that have feel the fears. And these fears go to teach you how to see everything with more reverence,
Hmm.
not just respect, if not with more reverence.
Yeah.
You see? So it's more or less in this reality how we try to embrace this kind of journey, because the spiritual journey is a journey inside of your own world, you see, and exist rules. For this reason, I think this new era need to learn one word. The word is no.
No.
You don't have the permission to do the things. You see, because sometimes this is the most difficult part of humans to accept, because we don't like to listen no. And when the no is coming for our own, if you try to explore in your own world, and maybe you don't have the permission to explore in this world, one part of you go to say no. And generally, we try to push the door. And this have consequences. Because everyone tell you, yeah, spiritual world is such a beautiful place, come, enjoy, and exploring. But nobody tell you what is the cause of this. Everything have a cause. Everything is part of is a relation. You give and you receive. But it's not just receiving, and what you give. The gift is the cause. What is the cause? There is the challenge. Some people don't like to, we say like this, is metaphorically, some people don't like to pay the cost. And sometimes the cost is to realize that is no, you don't have the permission to do the things. Not because I feel in love, or I feel my heart is full of love, I have, we say, the right to do what I like.
This sounds a lot like the concept of Aini
Yeah.
that you have. You want to talk a little bit about Aini and sacred reciprocity?
Sure. I need such a beautiful reality. For many people say that it's like a right relation, or giving and receiving. For me personally, I realize that I interpret this part like when you are in love with somebody, you giving with passion and you receive with reverence. You see? So the relationship that you create in Aini go to help you to be more connecting with this, with everything that you connect, because you go to create a relationship, equal relationship. For this reason, we say Mother Earth. We don't say God Earth. We say Father Son. We don't say God Son, because we have, in one hand, an equal relation. It's another being like me. We coming from the same Sami structure, different manifestation. But also it's beautiful to recognize the divine reality that we have just to be a human beings, just to exist in this reality. The summa causa is we say, the end of 7 Andean principles. One of these principles is Aini. The other principle is causa, that means existence. The existence, you don't need to funding. You don't need to seeking for the existence. You need to accept that you exist. That's it. You know, causa. The second is the Aini, relationship. How I be in relationship with my existence.
Yeah.
The third one is Munai, that some people say is love. for me personally, it's a little more complex. It's not just love. For me, Munai is first is sweetness, second is beauty, third is love, and fourth is magic. The four together is Munai.
Mm.
You
I've
see?
never heard it put that way before. That's beautiful. I love that, Jamie.
You see? So
Mm.
Munai, later Yachai, learning how you learn every single day for every single reality. Liankai, work, but no work is activity. How you be active in your life. Nothing in the universe is sleep or stop. No, you everything in the universe moving. And you need to move. The challenge is when you are so comfy in one place, you go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, and later come the Texemuyo, that is, we say the world, your own world, and kick you out. And you wake up the next day with a different reality. You see? Why? Because you go to sleep. You don't be active. Later is coming Saminchai, that is reverence. And how the reverence bring illumination for you, not just respect. Whatever person feels respect. How many people feel reverence? To see something and say, wow, oh my God. And I think a little by little we lost this vibration because we love this idea, this energy of surprising yourself or be like just say wow for how you see nature, reality, the ocean. And the other one is Ilawi or Anya, is what motivates you to do what you do? What is the roots of everything? What is the anchor to transform realities? You know, so we need to be really aware of what moves us to do whatever we like to do or whatever we need to do. You see? So all these principles bring you to the summa causa,
Right.
the beautiful way of living.
Yeah.
And this bring to everyone a beautiful a, the way to live in harmony with what is nature and with what is the cosmos and with what is human reality, you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very beautiful, Jamie. I was thinking as you were talking about reverence of my times in Peru and the deep respect and reverence that people have there. I mean, I love mountains here, but the apus, the spirits of the mountains, are so it just comes alive with that kind of reverence. And maybe you have some thoughts or messages from the apus in your, you've just come back from the Sacred Valley in Cusco, and I can feel the mountains in you, Jamie.
Yeah,
And the
I
spirit.
I travel to Salcantay. Um, what I love to share this story. It's a personal story. I walk into Salcantay, and one of the most important apus or spirits of mountains in the Andes. And I remember I feel I received bad news. So I be angry, and I beginning to say to the apus, why me? I do this for you. I working in your path. I sharing your traditions, your knowledge. I follow the path that you choose, that you say to me to move. I walking in this reality. Why me? Why you do this part to me? And I be angry. I go and, talking with the Apu. And that the Apu answered to me and say, why not? Who you are to don't live this human reality? Who you are to don't live this experience? I think the main medicine that humanity need to have right now, and maybe it's the message for the Apus, is why not? Try to digest everything that you live in a beautiful way. And if you don't like some things, well, learn. My master always say to me, you don't thinking that life is hard with you, or do you? Think that you like to learn in this way. If you like for life to be more gentle, one, be more gentle in life. And second, try to transform from there how you like to learn.
That's beautiful.
You see? So I try to be more gentle. And I think the main challenge for humanity right now is that we forget how powerful, how magical is to be gentle.
Powerful.
And to be gentle with us.
Yeah.
you
Very powerful message for this time, Jamie. Wow. So we're getting close to the
My
end of our
pleasure,
time,
my
my
bro.
brother. And I just want to see if there's anything that we haven't talked about that you really want to. That was a beautiful message right there. But anything else you want to say before we close this session?
I think in many ways, I like to express the gratitude that I have for you and for everyone that invited me there, to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share what is in my heart. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn, because life is like this. Is sharing, is connecting, is to giving the opportunity to you to express yourself. And just to express all the gratitude that I have for everything that you guys do there with all your community. Thank you very much. Thank you for opening your heart.
And thank you, Jamie. And I'm saying that not only for myself, I'm deeply moved, but for all the people listening, for your teaching, for your wisdom, for your ancestors and what they've passed down, and for all of our descendants. It's just really an honor to spend time with you. And it's so good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, my bro. Thank you. Thank you
Much
very
love.
much. Much love. And just remember that the ancestors already prepared this path to us. These guys walking with no distractions, with no TV, cell phones, computers, and all the things. The only thing that these guys is really passionate is to study nature. And maybe if we like to walk in this path and see the signs that the ancestors giving to us, it's a beautiful way to go back home.
Brilliant.
And maybe it's time to let me finish with this story. One day I be in ceremony and I see myself walking in this path. And I see myself walking from another perspective. And I see the road and it's like far, far away. And I say to myself, where are you going? And myself standing up and say, I don't know. And there is myself said, maybe it's time to go back home. So I flip directions and I go back home. I don't know how long go to take, but it's not important because in home, I waiting for myself. You see?
Yes. I love you, brother. Take care.
Thank you very much for your present and for all the mission that you do.